You need a person to play? All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 1900 hours. Adopt, adjust agenda. Any adjustments to the agenda? Commissioner Black. All right, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented. Approve minutes from previous meeting. Any questions, concerns?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. All right.
So I'll move to approve the June 14th, 2023 board minute meeting.
All right, all in favor of that motion? Aye. All right, motion approved. All right, comments. Open public comments related to the agenda. No. All right. District and staff work groups. Any comments or concerns? All right, moving on. Informational items. Accounts payable. Payroll.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the accounts payable. Everything from page 12 through 25, is that summed up on page 26 there? Is that how that's?
Let me look at page 26.
I just want to make sure I understood that, because it's not payroll or anything.
Yes, I believe that is the amount out of each category that the AP went to.
So all these other things that were paid, they found a home in one of those.
Correct.
Okay. So that's kind of helpful there for us to know about how much is going out in each of those categories on a monthly basis.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what I had for that. And so on the payroll, it's now are we going to show anything in here about like the state molds we've had, if our folks get paid out of that?
It'll just come in as overtime, but what we'll do is after we get the reimbursement from the state, we'll come and ask you to do a line item. So like if we spend $10,000 in overtime to pay them, then we'll come and ask you to put that when we get the check from the state, we'll ask you to put $10,000 in overtime.
Okay.
So we'll pay it out, and say this one, July, and when we get the check from the state in August or September, we'll come and say, let's put that money back in.
Okay.
My turn. There was a cost for, it said Station 41 for $33,000. I think it was 773.
Oh, yes, that's on the news station one.
Copy.
Station 41. So we're having to code them that way so that we know when to go split the costs with the. That was probably the 33 should have been the survey.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I was wondering.
You had me go for a second.
Yeah. Okay. And then
I was about ready to look at Greg and say, why are we spending?
And then the garage, Station 43 garage door, was that just one garage door? Garage door opener?
Yes.
Just garage door and garage door opener?
Not garage door.
Just the opener?
Yes.
One opener?
One opener. To the best of my knowledge, and I will tell you, Commissioner, I will have to look more into it. I can do that first thing tomorrow morning. To the best of my knowledge, it was the one garage door opener, not garage door.
So we have a number of different garage door openers.
Yes. And it's an opener for every door.
Is it different?
Yes, and, yeah, with the coating and the openers. Yes.
And so what, does it go out with the rig? Garage door opener, does it go out with the rig?
Yeah,
So
the
it could
remote control goes out with every rig. It stays in the rig where the bay they park, and it goes out and comes back, hopefully. It should never leave the rig.
Okay, but it could get lost or something,
Yes.
that's why.
Yes.
may need to be replaced
No,
or something.
we replaced the motor. It was the motor.
Yeah, the motor itself versus the remote control. Yeah.
Okay.
They just burn out every so often.
You used a lot. All right, any other questions on informational items, payroll, treasury report, budget to actual report, expense and revenue?
Well, I was, so page 31, so I'm just starting to learn this stuff. Page 31 then has to equal page 33 and following, right? Is that how that works too? I know we don't have the right person here.
Yeah,
You know,
you'd have to
so-
ask that, and the
yeah.
problem is it's all about timing. And so,
Well, I know 30 and 31 are balanced out. They have the same figures.
correct, yes, 30 and 31 are the same
Yeah.
report, so they figure, but how you would use the APs to go back into their payroll, you'll need to talk to that, because it's when the areas talk to each other, so I can't answer that. But 30 and 31 balance, yeah, because that's one report that's done at the same time.
Right, okay.
And yes, all the APs go into the treasurer's report, but how and when, that's the part I can't tell you. But yes, they eventually all the APs go into the treasurer report. The treasurer report's like a checkbook, but how that reconciliation happens, that's the part I'm not sure of when and what the process is.
So all these things up here in the accounts payable, the base, I guess I've never asked this question. Are they basically paid when they come in that day? I mean, once we have a receipt for what it is, and the bill comes in and kind of gets matched and get paid, or?
No, so we basically Sam's basically do an AP every other week and payroll in the in-between week. So she's doing AP one week, payroll the next week, AP, payroll. So we save up APs and do them every other week. Now, if there's the difference between us and the county was there's like 7 days between that, where there was almost a 30-day lag by the time we got it, could get to their system and pay it. The other thing is we can only do theirs on theirs. So if something happens and we get a bill late because the mail got delayed, we used to either have to take a late fee or pay it by our credit card. She can run an AP whenever she wants. So if we get a bill and it's like we have to pay it tomorrow or it'll be late, she can just run that AP batch as one. But in general, if there's no time frame, she's waiting and doing it every other week. And so that's why you see a lot more batches in there,
Sure.
because we have had a few where we have to do some one-offs for whatever reason. For example, the newsletters that we went out in the FAQ card for the levy, the printer won't print them until we pay them. And we had a deadline that we wanted out, so we ran an AP batch so that we could pay them and get the process started. So that's been an advantage. And so that's why you used to see maybe 2 APs in a report. Now you can see 4, because it's a whole batch, even if you just do what they call a batch in Springbrook, even if you just do one bill. So generally try and do it every other week, but we'll do it when we have to. Is that a long answer to a short question?
There's none.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, it's helpful for me to know how we're trying to function and make it as smooth as possible, so we keep the people that are supplying us happy as well, you know. I think that's important as we go along too.
Any other questions on accounts payable, treasury report, budgets, and actual reports?
No, I don't have any.
All right, we don't.
You do.
No, I asked my two questions.
Oh, I see.
Too many questions. Yeah, no. All right, we don't need a motion for that, so we'll move on to new business, land use at Station 40.
Yeah, Greg, Gary, I have been working on this for 6 months to more, trying to track this down. So we had somebody that was grazing beside us at Station 40. Other neighbors wanted to do the same thing. Obviously, there's not enough room to have more than one. So there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say kitchen there, but then we started looking into it more and we found out that it's not really a contract, it's an agreement that they basically release us from liability, but it's also attached to our title. And so our recommendation after, with everything that's going on, and it's out where they have always known that they're not supposed to do it when it's wet, but it's technically out where our septic system is, and probably not the best. So we are especially because that's a asset that we look at probably getting rid of in the next couple of years, that we start tidying that up and kind of give them notice. You know, I would even be fine with a year, like tell them you have 12 months to stop, because it just says reasonable. You know, Brian thought a couple of months would be reasonable, but you know, we're in no hurry, but I do think we should kind of tidy that up, get it off the title and start wrapping that up. But we wanted to bring it to you
Sounds reasonable.
because it'll probably take us 6 months after so if we give them a year, it's a year from now, it'll probably take us 6 months after that to get it off the title, because you all know how county works. So we're looking at 18 months from now before we can get a clear title if we start the process now.
All right.
I know in the information here, you folks also talked about maybe not getting involved in any other agreements with others around the station, not that station, but other stations around about. Do you need a motion? Do we need a motion for that as well?
I don't think so, because we would have to come to you
Okay.
to do it. And so if you just direct us not to, we won't. And then if we do, you would just tell us no when we brought it to you.
Okay. Well, I move to direct the fire chief to work with the adjacent property owner to Station 40 to end the grazing and then remove all attachments to the title of Station 40.
All righty. All in favor of that motion? Aye. Motion passed. District 16 rates.
So put it in here. So the District 16 rates have been the same since 2012. At that time, our rates had been set at 2009. We've increased our rates twice since then, and theirs have just been flat since 2012. So if you guys direct me, which I think would be good, I think we should have a conversation with District 16 just to see what that should be. Again, I put you some numbers in there. If we just did similar inflation, and I don't know that we have to do that over 1 year, that might be stepped in over multiple years to get us there. But I do think it's only fair to our citizens that their rate should have kept up with our citizens' rates.
Yep, absolutely.
Do they have agreements with other districts around the area too?
I don't
know that.
I don't know. I do know that we cover their kind of southern, probably 2/3 of the district better, but really Granite Falls, now that they have a medic unit, covers their northern part better. So I'm not sure if they do or not. When I start talking to them, that's the conversations I'll have with them is.
You're gonna come back to us with the kind of a, whatever you guys can come up with,
Yeah,
kind of agreement.
yeah, we'll have to talk to them, and whatever we do, you would have to approve as an ILA.
Yeah.
And so, if I get some feedback, I will come back to you to see if that, before we write up an ILA, if that matches what you guys desire, and then we would send it to Brian to write.
So do we have an ILA right now for the services? Can we
Yep.
just amend that, or do we need to do a whole other ILA?
It kind of depends what we dig into, but we could just amend that as a amendment with the rates. If everything else is good and they are like, yeah, we just want to do that, that would be the easiest way. But I would send it to Brian. Being 11 years old, there might be things in the ILA that are missing. That Brian would say, now we should
Yeah.
do this, do that. And so I would let him kind of give us the guide of what we should best do. I'll tell him, here's where we work, here's where we want to be. What's your suggestion to get us there?
All right, well then I'll make a motion to direct the chief to begin discussions and negotiations with District 16 to create and present to the board addendum to the current ILA or new ILA that has rates with the current district rate structure. All in favor of that motion? Aye. Motion passed. All right, on to chief's reports.
You good, Greg? You want to start?
Sure. So any questions about the stuff in writing that we submitted, commissioners, or that I submitted under the safety and support? If not, I do want to say that today we did the required mandatory quarterly training from the safety, the fire, from L&I program. So myself and 3 members of our safety committee participated in that training. went well. We have submitted our second and final for 2023 safety improvement plan, and that was approved 2 weeks ago by Labor and Industries. So that is going real well. And once again, the training occurred today. I will say upcoming is we have our open house. Everybody knows about that, but that's this Saturday. In addition to that, as usual, Fire District 4 will have a fairly large presence in the Klahia Day celebration. So we will have our apparatus and our names out there participating in the community again. And other than what I've got down there, that's about all extra that I have.
What time's the open house?
1 o'clock, 1 to 3, or correction, 1 to 5, I'm sorry, 1 to 5.
The only question I ask, the assistant chief next to you is who's baking the cake?
Yeah, who's baking the cake? Ops,
And he
it's
didn't-
definitely ops.
For safety reasons, I would say it's, and support, I might add, support. I think cake would fall
I
under
was
support.
kidding.
Yeah, we hope to have that big cake and everybody eats some of it.
So,
Is he gonna have a happy 135th birthday on it or
I
something?
don't know what Christine and Sam
Christine's in
have up their
charge of,
sleeves.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they've had free reign. I don't.
probably why she's
Good
not
luck.
here, she's probably at home
Oh, she's
making.
baking the
Yeah.
cake. Oh, so I wonder if she'll put that in the minutes.
Cake for 200.
Did you guys have any questions on the ops report? I know a common, a question that's came up from the city, and just give you the, kind of our 4th of July. Between July 2nd and 6th, we ran a total of 14 fire-related calls, but out of those 14, only 7 were in our district, and out of those 7, only 1 was possibly fireworks related. And that was an RV fire that they suspect had fireworks is what the cause of the fire was. No medical injuries from fireworks, but Surfer and other agencies around us, I don't know why, we missed it, but everybody around us was having residential responses, and we stayed out of the fray, at least this year. The only other thing I would highlight is we did have 14 part-time applicants that we interviewed, did some interviews, and we offered part-time positions to 6 of those applicants. So they're going through background and medical screening, and if that all comes back good, then we should have 6 part-time members in the next academy. We just got notification, official notification, this last week that Brian Heike got hired full-time with Boeing, so he'll be leaving our organization to get full-time employment in middle of July, I think 21st. Errol Hooker has been offered full-time employment in South County. He'll be leaving in August. That'll put us down to a total of 3 part-time members when Errol leaves. So the 6 would start the pre-academy in August. They'd be finished with the post-academy at the end of December and should be on shift roughly January 1st. So we got some recruits to come and replenish the very empty pair of cupboards, but it's going to take a while to onboard them, get them through the academy before they're on duty. Aaron Hammer just recently attended an NFPA conference, and some of the stuff, and I haven't had a chance to sit with them and talk specifically about it, but I know for WSRB ratings and talking about our fire prevention portion, a big portion of that conference was over middle school type fire prevention, which is something that we are working on improving. So I think he's got some ideas to get some credit by having some teachings into the middle school, which is kind of our blind spot right now. We do a good job at the elementary and have some connection to the high schools, and we're trying to find that connection with the middle schools. And then we just have had a rash. We borrowed Engine 99 Adam out of North County about 3 weeks ago when Engine 41 went down and Engine 40's out of service. We've called them like 3 times, said we're going to return your engine, and then Engine 42 went out of service, Engine 43 went out of service. So we got an injury bug going with our engines. Every time we think we're gonna be able to return engine 99, something pops up. So we're holding on to that engine, hopefully until engine 40 international returns with the clean bill of health. But we've got a, sure you'll probably start seeing some bills next meeting on engine repairs for stuff. So that's all I have for you. Any questions?
Nope. Thank you.
I'll go to Chief Raiders. You can be there, but the biggest thing is the historical count. It's about halfway done. She'll be coming into the office, I think next week. So that'll wrap up, get us all cleaned up and moving forward great. Definitely getting a lot better information, a lot quicker out of Springbrook. So it's being nice. For me, just want to go over that we, have a coffee with the chief at Looking Glass, July 12th at noon. A lunch and learn virtual question and answer on the levee on July 20th, that at noon, and that link will be on our website. We'll be at the city barbecue on July 25th at 4 o'clock, and another coffee with the chief at Starbucks on Bickford, July 27th at 10:30. Other than that, the only other thing I want to mention, because it's a little weird, we've done a lot to increase our WSRB rating, kind of the big overall things. But Daryl just started working with somebody that knows the ins and outs of WSRB a little bit better than any of us, to try to get the really small detail, fine-tuned stuff. So we just started that last week, and so we'll be trying to get every little scrap of points we can over the next few years. And Daryl is kind of leading the process of that, so that'll be a work in progress as we go. Any other questions?
You, in your report there, you talked about Station 40, maybe calling it something else.
Oh, yes. So that's,
Is that something that we as commissioners have to vote on it to give it a different name? So it's not, if it wouldn't be a station anymore?
no, we just have to title it on our documents. It's nothing official. Basically what they want to see is it's not part of our operational plan, because if we designate, for this is WSRB, if we designate a part of the operational plan, then we have to, Daryl can speak to it better, then we have to provide engine capability and staffing. If we call it a training side or a support side or a maintenance side or anything besides an operational station, then then that expectation is not as high, and we don't get docked points for not having as much as we do. So my plan is just to start calling it Training and Support Station 40. And we don't have to take the name station out of it, but it's a training and support station, because really that is what it is. So unless you guys have an objection to that, we will just move, the organization will move towards that.
Does that, do you have to then go and share that like with Snowpack and all those folks?
Nope.
None of that stuff. It's just, okay.
Because basically all our documents are just going to change. Instead of having a Station 40, it's going to be, Training and Support Station 40. TSS 40.
I don't think it's been responded in like 20-some years.
Wow.
So if it helps with our rating, then we get
Right.
cheaper insurance for.
Right, no, I'm all in favor of that. I just want to know if there's some legal things we
Yeah.
gotta.
And it's
Away
the
from-
little things like this that we're going to get points for that we would have, without Daryl kind of leading this up, that who would have ever thought that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so these are the nitpicky things that we're going to try to get done in the next 3 years.
Okay. Like I said, I was concerned if there was some legal
Yeah.
ramifications for doing it, or,
Yeah, they don't check that hard. They just want to see that what you're doing, and then whatever you do, they then measure that against their expectations.
Also would probably make it easier to train our personnel. I know that at some point we may not have that, but to say, I'd rather say we have 3 operational stations, 1 training site, 1 support and training station. So you don't, because
Sure.
usually we answer it with, we have 4 stations, but 1's not staffed. So I'd rather just say that, call it what it is. It's a safety and training station.
So do you have a goal when you want to start that?
We will probably be doing it tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That sounds all right.
All right.
All right. Then you have to have a little sheet of paper there so everybody knows what to say.
It's gonna take us about, at least me, it's gonna take me about 74 corrections for somebody
Yeah,
else for
right.
me to get it stuck. But yeah, we need to start tomorrow and then we'll screw up a bunch of times.
Well, no, that's fine. No, you know, just to have kind of an idea from now on, just as it's referred to
Yeah.
that, it's okay.
Yeah, we were just letting you to make sure you didn't have any objections before we started moving that direction.
Well, you heard some of my thoughts anyway, you know, that might have gone that way anyway, so that's good. Okay. Sounds fine.
All right, any other questions or comments of the chief's reports? All righty, commissioner comments.
Well, I was able to attend with the chief when he presented the slideshow. I guess it was a slideshow then, it wasn't on a loop anyway, but to a number of different groups. And I just want to thank him for doing a good job with that. And it was well received, I think, and a lot of positive comments by the various folks that heard you and so forth like that, and asked questions. So anyway, so just thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Good.
For your hard work.
We've got a lot of positive feedback, so that's exciting.
That's about the only thing I have tonight.
All righty, and I don't have any comments, so we will adjourn the meeting at 19:27.